Good afternoon, members. I trust everyone had a nice lunch break. The House is now in session for the afternoon session. Members, when we broke this morning, we were still on the matter of congratulations and condolence remarks. Does any member wish to continue on that? MP Fogo, you on your feet? MP Ming. Fogo, you're standing next to us, see? Talking to her. Okay, MP Ming?
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and in the audience. Mr. Speaker, what a mistake to make. My guess the fact that she's a St. George's girl, we can let it fly. You'll let it fly for today. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to, first of all, offer condolences to the families of Sylvia Zul and Dane Brown. Both are constituents of constituency number 1, have grown to, because they actually both are not originally from St. George's, but they grew to love St. George's and call it home, and they will definitely be missed in and around the constituency. And on a happier note, Mr. Speaker, I know this was said before, but I wanted to add to the comments. Constituency number 1 hosted the 21st Dame Jennifer Smith Future Leader Award ceremony last week. And if you ever want to know what our young people are doing, I will tell you there are some out there, most of them from my view anyhow, are doing great things. We had 2 people selected from each of the primary schools in the parish of St. George's, so that would be East End Primary, St. George's Preparatory School, and St. David's Primary. East End Primary, there was Rashiva Smith and Daniel Mallory. It's funny, we're saying Rashiva because that's her correct name, but having her run the school for 6 years, we actually call her Shivi so much. From St. George's Preparatory School was Ryan Millett and Jaravano Williams. And for St. David's Primary, we have Kenzie Pitcher Wade and Roy Simmons. Our young people, these young people, guys, if you heard the resumes or the bios and just look at the things that they do in school, outside of school, academically, athletically, they had community service. They were doing some great and awesome, wonderful things. But the real thing of why they were selected is because even at a young age, they have demonstrated early leadership skills. And so for that, they were honored at the ceremony. I'd also like to congratulate the St. George's Collection. They held a fashion show yesterday at the Hillcrest Boutique Hotel. What an awesome place to actually have a fashion show. The businesses from St. George's that were involved in that were the Things We Love, English Sports Shop, Frangipani, and Dreamscape. And if you ever get a chance, and you should make sure, because it's all where you all came from, come down, have a look, and see what it is that St. George's has to offer. I'd like to associate MP Fogo with these comments as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, listening audience.
Thank you, MP Ming. Minister Furbert, would you like to make your contribution now?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to be associated with the comments in regards to the youth parliamentarian debate. Mr. Speaker, well done event. Always gives our young people the opportunity to show us how they perform, and indeed they did teach us many things, I would say, about the form of debate, both the current youth parliamentarians and former youth parliamentarians who did an excellent job. So I'd like to congratulate them and, of course, the team of the Office of Youth Affairs who assisted with organizing and putting that event on. I would also like to take the opportunity to congratulate the graduates of the Happy Valley Daycare Center. There were about 16 young ones who participated in a leaving ceremony who will be going on to our public preschools and private preschool programs. Congratulations to them, and of course the hardworking staff that provide quality early childhood education programs for our young people. I also, Mr. Speaker, would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge and congratulate. We all got an email, I believe, in regards to a young Bermudian 25-year-old Anastasia Campbell, who was participating in a beauty pageant in England, which I believe occurred on July the 12th. I don't know the outcome of that pageant, but I would assume that there were many applicants and selections that would make it difficult for Mrs. Campbell to reach where she did reach. And so a big congratulations to her and acknowledgement for our very own Bermudian who was born and bred in Bermuda, who was selected to participate in this pageant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. MP Tucker, you have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to associate with the congratulations given with regard to the youth parliamentary debate, and as well as the comments made for Ms. Campbell. I would beg your pardon, I would also like to express condolences to the family of Mr. Roland Rocky Darrell. I was associated earlier this morning in our morning session, and Minister Weeks and Minister Rebane also would like to be associated as well, even though Minister Rebane associated me earlier. And I also would like to express condolences to the family of Mrs. Josephine Reynolds. I've known Mrs. Reynolds for a number of years, as her granddaughter and my daughter were in high school together, and I actually got my grandmother name from Mrs. Reynolds, and my grandmother name is Lita, and my daughter's friend, who's Asia Ming Rayner, used to call her grandmother, Mrs. Reynolds, Lita. And and Miss MP, did she? Okay, so I'd associate.
Madam, you want to add some more contributions to that?
I'd like to associate MP Fogo and MP Smith with those comments as well. Sorry, I beg your pardon, MP Swan. And just again express condolences to Joyce. That's Mrs. Rayner, Mrs. Reynolds' daughter, Joyce Ming, and as well as Mrs. Reynolds' granddaughter, Asia Ming Rayner. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? None other? Thank you, members. Before we move on, I'd just like to add my remarks to the condolences that were sent earlier to the Bassett family on the passing of Ms. Carol Bassett. Yes, much was said about her contribution to education. I've known her from that perspective, also known her from her church community, and I knew her family personally, so I know her loss will be felt from all quarters that she had a presence in. So my remarks will be added to those that have been expressed already. Thank you, members. We'll now move on. The next item on the order paper is matters of privilege. There are none. Next item is personal explanations. There are none. Next is notice of motions for the adjournment of the House on matters of urgent public importance. There are none. Introduction of bills. We have government bills and opposition bills to be introduced today. The first of the government bills is introduced in the name of the Premier and Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm moving the following bills to their first reading so they may be placed in the order paper for the next day of meeting. Tax Credits Amendment Act 2026 and the Corporate Income Tax Amendment Act 2026.
Here, would you like to do the second matter? Don't move. That's right, the tax, okay. The third item is from the Minister of Youth, Social Development and Seniors. Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to introduce the following bill for its first reading so that it may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting, the Human Rights Amendment Act 2026.
Thank you. And the next item is in the name of the Minister of Health. Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I'm introducing the following bill for its first reading so that it may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting, the Bermuda Health Council Miscellaneous Amendments Act 2026.
And the next is in the name of the Minister of Home Affairs, and it will be presented on her behalf by the Minister of Works.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am introducing the following bill for its first reading so that it may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting. The Cost of Living Commission Amendment Number 2, Act 2026.
Thank you, members. The next item is the opposition bill. We have one opposition bill in the name of the member MP Richardson. Would you like to present your bill at this time?
Mr. Speaker, per the provisions of Standing Order 28-1, I move for leave to introduce and read a bill for the first time by its title only.
Continue.
Mr. Speaker, I am introducing the following bill for its first reading so that it may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting. The Road Traffic and Motor Car Road Safety and Penalties Amendment Act 2026.
Thank you. No private members' bills. The next item is motion, notice of motions. We have a notice of a motion from the Minister of Youth, Social Development, and Seniors. Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I give notice that I propose to move the following motion at the next day of meeting, that this Honorable House consider and approve the plan to end homelessness, Ending Homelessness Together, which was tabled in the House of Assembly on the 27th of March, 2026.
Thank you. That brings us to the close of the notices for motions and bills today. We now move on to the next item, which is the orders of the day. And the first order to be done today is the consideration of the Contributory Pensions Amendment of Contributions and Benefits Order 2026 in the name of the Premier and the Minister of Finance. Minister? Members listening to the Premier has just setting himself ready to present. So members in the listening audience, we will now hear from the Premier on the introduction of this matter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that consideration be given to the draft order entitled the Contributory Pensions Amendment of Contribution and Benefits Order 2026, proposed to be made by the Minister of Finance in exercise of the power conferred by Section 37 of the Contributory Pensions Act 1917.
Any objections? None? Continue, Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on this particular matter, we are discussing the Contribution of Pensions Amendment Order, which reflects this government's continued commitment to keep our promise to make sure that we increase pensions by the rate of inflation every single year. Every year, yes, every year. Mr. Speaker, I do not need to speak to you or others about the contributions that our seniors have made to this country. And therefore, it is no surprise, Mr. Speaker, this government remains committed to increasing pensions by the rate of inflation every year, which is something that we promised inside of our election manifesto. We recognize the many challenges that seniors will face due to rising costs, and our goal is to provide continued support so they can live in dignity as they deserve. And it's important to note, Mr. Speaker, that pensions are just one aspect of that. Whether it's financial assistance, whether those are the other things in which we've done, whether or not they're public sector retirees, where they've seen an increase in that as well, Mr. Speaker. These are the things in which this government continues to do to ensure that we pay homage and make sure that the relationship between the government and the seniors of this country remains a sound one. Mr. Speaker, Bermuda offers retired individuals a combination of social insurance benefits from the Contributory Pension Fund and a mandatory employer-sponsored occupational pension. Ideally, the social insurance benefit serves the first tier or basic pension, which a second tier or occupational pension should supplement. However, many retirees are not receiving an occupational pension through no fault of their own. And this situation is mainly because occupational pensions were not mandatory until 1999, when the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Act was enacted. As a result, some retirees rely solely on social insurance benefit for their income. Mr. Speaker, this situation could be better, and the government continues to work to ensure that seniors who rely heavily on their social insurance benefits do have a dependable source of income. But it should be noted, Mr. Speaker, that individuals who are still having challenges, who may not have occupational pensions, can always, of course, avail themselves of the other social assistance programs that are available, including financial assistance. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding what I've just said, the CPF benefit provides an important base retirement income. Currently, the maximum pension paid under the CPF is about 29% of the median annual gross earnings for Bermudians, as indicated in the Bermuda Job Market Employment Brief produced by the Department of Statistics in September 2025. This compares closely with the United Kingdom, where the full basic state pension as a percentage of average earnings is about 30%. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of the order is to increase pensions and other benefits under the Contributory Pensions Act 1970 by 1.74% as of August 16, 2026, when increases are typically made to the benefits. Per the government actuary, the 1.74% increase in benefits would represent a small negative impact on the fund. Mr. Speaker, honorable members are advised that according to the Consumer Price Index, the cost of living increased by 1.74% from September 2024 to August 2025. This figure represents the average year-to-date change since the last benefit increase. Therefore, the proposed benefit increase fully covers the prevailing rate of inflation to ensure that our seniors are not disadvantaged. Mr. Speaker, there are 5 types of benefits payable under the Contributory Pensions Act 1970. All the pensions and allowances will be increased by 1.74%. These pensions and allowances are contributory old age pension, contributory widowers allowance, contributory disability benefit, non-contributory old age pension, and non-contributory disability benefit. Mr. Speaker, the current maximum basic contributory pension is $1,206 per month. The average contributory pension currently payable, which includes additional increments added to the basic pension, is approximately $1,323 a month. Altogether, some 15,086 persons are currently receiving benefits underneath this act. The proposed 1.74% increase will raise the maximum basic contributory pension to $1,227 a month, and with additional increments, the average benefit will increase to approximately $1,346.02 per month. Beneficiaries, Mr. Speaker, Sorry, let me just make sure I've got this right, Mr. Speaker. Beneficiaries can expect to see a 1.74% increase in their regular monthly payment for the 15th of each month, starting on September 15th, 2026. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud of the fact that this 1.74% increase marks the 8th pension increase. Yes, Mr. Speaker, you heard correctly, the 8th pension increase the Progressive Labour Party government has put through in its time in government, which is in stark contrast, as I think we've heard many times today, to the former government, who made our seniors wait 5 years for a pension increase while telling them that money did not grow on trees. As a reminder, Mr. B.S., they only did it in an election year. Yes, in an election year. That was it. So every other year, seniors, no, no, no. And when election time came coming, they're like, here, have an increase. An increase, by the way, Mr. Speaker, that did not match the rate of inflation. But important, Mr. Speaker, this government is different. This government will keep its promises. And for the history, just remember, this is what we have done since 2017. In August of 2017, just 1 month after being elected, Mr. Speaker, we kept our promise to increase pensions by 1.75%. In August of 2018, 1.4%. In August of 2019, 1.2%. In August of 2021, 2.75%, and that increase was slightly higher than the prevailing rate of inflation. In August 2023, 4.1% to account for change in 2022 and 2023. In 2024, Mr. Speaker, a 2.4% increase, and in 2025, a 2.3% increase. And today we are passing our 8th increase of 1.74%, effective on the 16th of August 2026. Yes, Mr. Speaker, this government does keep its promises to our seniors. And guess what, Mr. Speaker? I know there's a lot of speakers who actually listen to us, and they note and recognize the difference in approaches that governments take. One government makes sure that we take care of our seniors, increasing their benefits, whether that be through social assistance, whether it be through pensions, whether or not be through retirement benefits, or whether or not that be through other measures, Mr. Speaker. And we know, recognize, and understand the approach that was taken by the opposition party when they were
Point of
in
order,
government.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of
The
order.
Honorable Premier is impugning improper motive by implying that the One Bermuda Alliance does not take care of the people. As we've well established in this House, the prior government, prior to the prior OBA government, had spent so much money and incurred such a deficit, a loan had to be taken out just to pay the government employees. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Speaker.
you, member. Premier?
Mr. Speaker, the Shadow Minister of Finance should know that he is clearly misleading the House on his point of order. And Mr. Speaker, he should know that not everything is impugning improper motive, because we can say what our views and our opinions are. But here's the fact, Mr. Speaker. The honourable member is so misleading and so misled and so confused that he does not even realize that pensions are not paid out of the consolidated fund. They're paid out of the contributory pension fund, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order. Let me recognize your point of order. What's your point of order, member?
Yes, Standing Order 1911D, the Premier is using insulting and disrespectful language, and I invite him to politely retract his color commentary, which is not necessary. Of course, Mr. Speaker, the pensions are funded out of another pot, and as we will hear from my remarks later, they are running out of money under this government, and will run out short of government action. Thank you.
Mr. Premier, I know you are clever enough to not cause the gentleman to keep jumping on
Mr. Speaker, he's going to jump up as much, but guess what, Mr. Speaker? I'm going to say what I want to say in this House, Mr. Speaker, because I know by the laws.
Within the confines of
absolutely, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, I will note and understand that you did not rule my comments out of order, Mr. Speaker, so I shall continue. So, Mr. Speaker.
I'm asking you to be guided in how you put your comments.
Mr. Speaker, I absolutely can.
Be respectful that it's an opinion, but your opinion cannot necessarily be turned into a place where they
Mr. Speaker, I take your point, but here is the reality, Mr. Speaker. The honourable member got up on a point of order, his same tired point of order around matters that are related to, salaries, what's it called, without recognizing and remembering that the largest deficits in the country's history occurred under their watch, Mr. Speaker. Under their watch. It was them who said they were going to borrow $800 million to last for 5 years, and it only lasted for 3. And they had to go back, Mr. Speaker. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mr. Speaker. Here's the thing, Mr. Speaker. Here's what's important. When it comes to contributory pensions, Mr. Speaker, refuse to give seniors a pension increase. It had nothing to do with paying civil servants. It had everything to do with their philosophy and approach to government.
Mr. Speaker, point of order. The Premier is intentionally misleading the House. Because our philosophy is not to deny benefits, and he knows it. Our philosophy is to ensure that the pension fund is robust and can last, unlike this current pension fund, which is going to run out of money without further action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Premier?
Mr. Speaker.
Your opinion.
Mr. Speaker, the record is clear. 4 years they did not increase pensions. Why are they getting upset that we're telling the truth? What do they want? What word do they wish to use? Their approach to governance. Their approach to governance was, we are not going to give seniors a pension increase. That was their approach. Their approach to government was that we are going to...
The Premier continues to intentionally mislead the House, because I have laid out for you, Mr. Speaker, speaking as the Shadow Minister of Finance, the OBA philosophy, and he can stick to the facts. It is correct that pensions could not be increased, and I have explained, why they had not been increased. But that is not a philosophy. Mr. Speaker, that is not a philosophy of not increasing. That is a philosophy of ensuring pension payments can continue to be paid over a longer period of time.
Let me add in on this. The comments that were being made were speaking to a historical approach that was done in the past, and is using the reference to a historical approach, which is clear on what was said and done during that time period, and that's the references being made. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I am going to take every single time that I get up in this Honorable House of Assembly to talk on this particular matter and to make sure that I am clear that the people of this country remember the approach of the One Bermuda Alliance in government. They came into office and for 4 years told seniors, no, you're not going to get an increase. No, you're not going to get an increase. No, you're not going to get an increase. No, you're not going to get an interest. And here's the fact, Mr. Speaker, when they're reminded about it, they stand up, point of order, point of order, point of order, make every excuse of which they wish, Mr. Speaker. If they wanted to increase pensions, they would have done so, like this government has. But no, Mr. Speaker, they chose not to. That is the record. Whatever you want to ascribe to it, approach, philosophy, views, taking whatever it is called, Mr. Speaker, the reality is they would not increase pensions for seniors until election year. Those are the facts, Mr. Speaker. Those are the facts. I hear no point of order on those facts, Mr. Speaker. All right, so let's keep going, Mr. Speaker, because that's where it is. And where we find ourselves now, Mr. Speaker, is a significant increase in the pensions which are being given to our retirees, because that is the record of a government that Mr. Speaker, it is rich. We hear from the Mr. Speaker, we hear from the opposition leader, we need more, but then he sat as part of a party that didn't give any. So Mr. Speaker, let me continue to press ahead.
Yeah, point of order, Mr. Speaker. The Premier is misleading the House because there were increases made, which he said himself. So I definitely invite him to retract that factual comment. Thank you.
Premier.
Mr. Speaker, let me move on, because this is just...
And the real fact is just actually...
Mr. Speaker, the record is clear. They gave one pension increase in 5 years on the eve of an election. That's the record. That's what they did. That's what they did. And we make sure that our seniors keep up with the rate of inflation. Theirs did not even match the rate of inflation. I'm surprised that they don't just keep quiet, because it gives me more opportunities to remind the people of this country the difference in approach. The difference that it makes when you have a government that actually believes in keeping its promises and believes in increasing seniors' pensions by the rate of inflation. And Mr. Speaker, so I laid through the history of the times in which we've done this year after year after year after year. And in every case which this government has increased benefits for our seniors, the increase has been in line with or exceeded the prevailing rate of inflation, thereby placing seniors' pensions under the consumer price index and in good stead. Mr. Speaker, in the 2026 increase in benefits accompanied by an increase in contributions. Per the government actuary, if the contributions is to be increased by 2.5% per annum more than benefits, this is estimated to continue to make sure that the fund remains healthy. Mr. Speaker, should also note that contributions last increased in August 2025 by 4.81%. That was, again, 2.5 percentage points more than the increase in benefits. And the Ministry of Finance will continue to manage the CPS position. The proposed increase in contributions for employees and employers is 4.25%, which is 2.51% more than the benefits increase proposed the year. The effective date for the contribution increase is August 2026. Mr. Speaker, currently the weekly contribution rate is $75.30 for individuals under the age of 35 and $37.65 for those over the age of 65. The proposed increase of 4.25% will raise weekly contribution rates to $78.50 for individuals and under 65 and to $39.25 for individuals over 65. This increase in weekly contributions amounts to $3.20 per week, Mr. Speaker, which is $1.60 when split between employer and employee. Mr. Speaker, the pension reform work is developing options to sustainably address and secure future benefits. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, as we said, we have managed to fix the public sector superannuation fund by making sure to extend its life and putting it in a positive position that has enabled us to then go ahead and to give retirement benefits to public sector retirees, which we debated the last time in this House. Mr. Speaker, in reference to our throne speech commitments on matters related to the work, and as stated inside the budget, the government is committed to tabling a position paper in regards to our approach for social insurance reform or the reform of the contributory pension fund. Those particular matters will be set out. The actuaries are currently actually either on island this week or next week going through a series of meetings and reviews on the matter that we did on all of the previous pension reform items, because it is important that we fix these particular funds for the long term, as this government has done with the most important one, which is the public sector superannuation fund, which removed a $2 billion unfunded liability from the government's balance sheet. Mr. Speaker, just to speak to the fund itself. The fund, as of 31st of March 2026, the fund had net assets of over $2.36 billion, representing approximately 10 times the value of benefits paid in this fiscal year. In 2025-26, the effect of this, the CPF received no further contribution to continue to pay out pensions at the prevailing rate for almost 10 years. However, the reality is contributions will continue through time and will be increased from time to time. Consequently, prudent investment of pension funds is an important factor in the fund's financial position. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, the government's sound investment strategy for pension fund assets is achieving good results. And as of March 31st, 2026, the contributory pension fund investment stood at $2.211 billion. The nominal rate of return for the 10 years preceding March 31st, 2026 was 7.4%. Mr. Speaker, as evidenced by the 2023 actual report tabled in this honorable House on March 4, 2025, the viability of the fund in the short to medium term is good, with the fund being positive for the next 19 years until 2042. However, in address the long-term challenges associated with pensions generally, as we said, we are going to make sure that we bring forward a position paper on these particular changes. It is noted, Mr. Speaker, that the funding policy of the CPS is based on sustainable funding rather than full actuarial funding, and that is that contributions plus investment income should cover benefits and administration expenses on an annual basis, while the fund builds sufficient reserve to cover years of benefits and expenses and to withstand future adverse circumstances. That is something that is standard with these types of funds, Mr. Speaker. So it is important to recognize that though a fund may not be 100% funded, you want to make sure it's sustainable, because you're recognizing, of course, that there are contributions that are going to continue to come in. Mr. Speaker, as we note, though there is a positive short to medium term outlook, we do know that there is the work that it needs to be done to stabilize the contributory pension fund, which means that there's going to be a number of measures. I am pleased, Mr. Speaker, that the measures that were put forward from our actuaries are actually broader than the initial set of measures that were done, which I think will actually result in, when the position paper that does come following its approval by the cabinet that does come to this Parliament, will see, Mr. Speaker, a wider range of options where we can actually move forward and actually fix this issue for the future as well. And so, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to making sure that we deal with those particular matters, because it's important that this government continue its record of striking the right balance between social and fiscal responsibility. But the right balance, in our eyes, Mr. Speaker, is to keep faith with the seniors of this country, ensuring that we increase their pensions every year by at least the rate of inflation. And that, Mr. Speaker, is the record of this particular government. So in closing, I wish to assure members again, and more importantly, current and future pensions, that the government recognize the challenge they face. We'll continue to take the appropriate and decisive steps to enhance benefits paid from the National Pension Plan, and ensure the fund has the ongoing ability to pay for such benefits in the future. And Mr. Speaker, if I can, just because I think that it's important to note on a monthly basis, that since we've come into office, the maximum contributory pension has increased by $271 a month, Mr. Speaker. That is over $3,000 a year. Those are the changes that matter when you keep your promise by increasing the rate of pensions by the rate of inflation to ensure that persons have more money in their pockets, Mr. Speaker. That is the reality. That is this government's record, and I commend this statement to the House and look forward to the support from the opposition, unless they want to be recorded as once again not supporting an increase to seniors' pensions.
Thank you, Premier. Opposition spokesman,
Yes.
Dacuto, you have the floor.
So first of all, Mr. Speaker, I have to correct the Premier's incorrect statement because if a government feels it doesn't have the money to pay the pensions, that doesn't mean they don't support increases. It means they couldn't put together. We, in this House, while we have been opposition, have supported the pension increases. So the listening public needs to hear that, have supported the pension. And we support this. But the public needs to hear some important stuff. The public needs to hear some important stuff. As we know, based on the actual reports, the current social insurance or CPF pensions fund will not be able to make full payments after 2042. Now, Mr. Speaker, that means if you're like me, if you're working today, in the absence of actual change, personally, I would not count on having that full amount of money.
You don't have to. You're a trust fund.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Deputy.
That's unnecessary, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy.
And I take extreme personal prejudice.
Members, we've been in a good time. It's been a low humor, but don't take it below that, please, because we know how sensitive things can be to individuals, and we've seen it in the past, and we don't want a repeat of it. Yeah.
You know, Mr. Speaker, it's one thing to hurl invective, and it's another thing for it to be badly intentioned and incorrect.
Wait. Members, let's let the afternoon go smoothly without us having to get caught up in side conversations that are going to, by the turn of the comment, going to lead us in the wrong direction. Let's put that to rest now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be guided by your remarks, of course. You know, Mr. Speaker, I am here to discuss policy.
Wait. Members, I was serious just now. I was real serious. We've seen how these take us down a wrong turn, and emotionally people get bent out of shape. We're heading down a track right now that can lead us in that same space. We've seen it happen in the past. We don't need to go down that road again, okay?
Now, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Back to the matter at hand. The social insurance or the contributory pension fund, which some people rely on, especially older people. As I was saying, because we know from the most recent actual reports, this fund will no longer be able to make its full payments from 2042, which means basically if you're still working today and you're middle-aged or younger, in the absence of actual action from this government, my personal advice is do not factor that too deeply into your retirement plans. The Premier said he's committed to tabling a position paper. Well, we'll listen when they table an actual amendment or an actual change in laws or actual finances. But until then, it's just a lot of hot air, Mr. Speaker. A lot of hot air. Because we would love to cut checks. But you know, Mr. Speaker, the pension money, it doesn't grow on trees. The pension money doesn't grow on trees. You know where the money comes from, Mr. Speaker? It comes out of the pockets of the working people. So if you're working today, is the money you pay into the pension fund today that pays for the payments to go to other people. And so we noted that although the increases are only 1.74%, the deductions are 4.25%. And I say only because I think the Premier said, oh, they're now doing $270 extra a month. That's great. We know most people's health care costs, as set by the government, have gone up more than that. So they're looking at this and going, well, okay, but I'm still short, Mr. Speaker. I'm still short. And the Premier doesn't want to talk about that, okay? This does not cover the increases in the cost of living that people are seeing in health care and insurance. And as you know, Mr. Speaker, we've come up here and we've proposed a lot of specific things on how government could actually adjust health care costs instead of letting a lot of CIT money, that the government has allowed CIT money to go into the pockets of the insurance company shareholders while increases.
We're back to this again, Mr. Speaker. Point of order. Come on, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect, if you're going to assign the government benches a certain standard, the same standard must be held on that side, Mr. Speaker. We ruled on that last week, the last time, and he's gone back there again, Mr. Speaker.
Yep.
Mr. Speaker?
Yep. I got you. got you. I got you, Premier.
He's misleading the House.
Premier.
There is no money that has gone from CIT to shareholders, Mr. Speaker. None.
Got you. Okay. I got you. That matter had come up the last time, and it was clarified the last time around. And right before you get on your feet, I just wanted people to understand that once it's been clarified that it isn't the case, then we need not to bring it up as if it is the case. Unless you have proof of something different, the way it's been stated was accepted, and that's what it was. Okay?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Well, we know it's a matter of public record that that company's accountants have booked a $20 million plus credit due to CIT, and that company will also be spending $20 million on a share buyback for the shareholders. I leave it to the public to do the math. Leave it at that. And I was talking about the cost of insurance to everybody who's receiving the social insurance. They have to buy maybe vehicle insurance, maybe insurance for their house. And of course, we know about the health insurance costs, which the government has increased, and those costs have really outpaced the social insurance costs. So look, we're glad to see the increase. We support the increase. But we know that until we see specific actions, right, to fix this fund up, like had to be done for the Public Servants Fund, this is like a major ticking time bomb for the working person today. And we're on the record of saying, because it's sort of a critical piece of a national concern, Mr. Speaker, we would use CIT money, for example, to help ease the transition and whatever changes. Not perhaps on an ongoing basis, but to ease and smooth the transition, because we know that for many of the public servants, the PSSF changes were, for some of them, a bit of a shock. So you can imagine maybe putting some funds in there. So now where was I going with that? You're right. I'm all right, Mr. Speaker, and you heard it here from the government benches. I'm right. Now, he said the fund remains healthy. I don't know about you, Mr. Speaker, but my pension fund running out in 18 years, I don't consider healthy, but I guess that's a matter of opinion. I will leave it to the Premier to have his own opinion on that. We are, like I said, we are deeply concerned about the lack of progress on the social insurance reform. We talked about the cost of living. Again, everybody in Bermuda knows these cost of living statistics, the CPI, which comes out so after the fact, doesn't really match what people are feeling. And we talked about the health insurance, we talked about the other insurance, we talked about food, housing, Mr. Speaker. Now I know the government's making some efforts there, and broadly it's the right direction, although we have a lot of feedback on that. So to make it sound like this 1.74% is going to be life-changing is not the case. We know people need more, and that is why this fund needs to be reformed pronto. And we know that the Premier won't be around here from October as Premier, so I hope that his successor, whoever that will be, can put this to the top of the agenda, because it is one of the most important things. The other key issue with this fund, Mr. Speaker, okay, obviously there's the money going in that comes out of taxpayers' pockets. Nothing come on trees. It comes out of the working person's pocket, out of their paycheck that goes in, okay, is the demographic issue, okay? We know that Bermuda has an aging population, and that the number of working people compared to the number of people retiring is growing. And then that's another huge pressure on the fund. And we know that from my leaders, opposition leaders' questions earlier today, we know there's a serious issue with the total population demographics and how that impacts things like shared funds, like social insurance, health insurance, things like that. So another key issue will be, how can government get its economy going so there are more working people paying into these funds that will make them healthier? Because frankly, our belief is that the number of working people is lower than people think. And of course, we have the census, and we don't know, but how most people feel that the population has declined. And I suspect that this fund may be in more trouble than people think. So let me wrap it up there, Mr. Speaker, and summarize as, yes, we support. We all like to write checks to help people out. But I think I've highlighted a couple of key issues that we think the government needs to be moving a lot more rapidly on with a lot higher sense of urgency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, MP. Does any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? Any other member? MP Swan, you have the floor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me declare my interest. I am a senior. And the honorable member just took his seat, refers to the pension increase as merely someone writing checks. I beg to differ. I beg to differ for the simple reason of I know people get tickled up when I use this type of analogy. The ethos of a PLP government committed to doing for working class persons and a business-minded conservative government or wannabe government that will do things that might not necessarily carry the better interest of the ordinary folk. And people say, yeah, that's not true, Swanee. We understand folk and we're out there. But I remember being one time on jury when a young lawyer and her actions speak louder than words. I never forget that. That was and it just so happens the young lawyer is in this honorable house as Minister of Health. She gave a compelling presentation. There were some multiple persons on trial. I just want to say this, that if a government can prioritize and use what it inherited as the reason for making sure that seniors didn't receive increases in a 5-year period, but find the money to make sure that, and I love sailing, so let nobody, I come from a family that sails, fishes, and farms. Could find the money to fund that to the tune of $100 million. That's a different mindset. And when I say that is that if we look at where we came from to get there, we had just come from a global pandemic, Mr. Speaker. I heard people saying they left us with nothing. Let me tell you this, that between 2001 to about 2006, the country, and Mr. Speaker, you would know this better than anybody in this house, enjoyed the most buoyant economic time ever. And I've seen some governments in the past that have done some good things as well. It's a story for another day. Some folks don't like the fact that I'm not afraid to talk about it. But I'll say this, that when the recession hit in 2008, many persons in this country did not even accept that there was a recession. Do you know who did? Now, I may get this wrong, but I attended a meeting down at the bottom floor, just below where my studio is, and I declare my interest. I work for Inter-Island Communications, only once a week now, 1 hour, but I have a lovely radio show. I've been a part of that family for over 10 years. But there's a triennial, am I right, Honorable Minister, conference that's held by, it might even be the Trade Union Congress. And do you know, I believe at that event, unionized hotel workers accepted a pay freeze. Unionized hotel workers accepted a pay freeze before everybody else was saying, there's no recession, you're just making it up. PLP is causing that. Ask me how I would know that. Sometimes you've been around long enough to know what the mindset was propelling that argument at the same time. Okay? So a government that was in buoyancy, and I'll say this, the late Mr. C. Eugene Cox had a fund that I wish during that buoyancy time would have been further supplemented. I certainly believed in that. One, it would have helped insulate Bermuda. The government invested in people. My colleagues back in 10 years prior to that, when confronted with a recession, made sure that my Portuguese cousins went home. Okay? I remember that too, because a lot of those I had gotten to know. Okay? So let's go forward now. And what am I talking about? 2008-9, 2009-10, 2010-11. Decisions made in boardrooms to the heart of this country. You don't hear that talked about. You don't see reports written about that. You don't hear people talking about the fact that the brightest of the bright in this country made poor business decisions that tore the heart out of this country economically. Tore the heart out of this country economically. So much so, Mr. Speaker, so much so that a Labour government came to a United Bermuda Party opposition, wanted to hold hands together because they were going to bail out who? The Bank of Butterfield, to the tune of $250 million. And I knew many legacy families that had a lot of wealth in this country, who I'm sure look at the PLP a little bit differently today than they did there, came to the rescue. Don't let me get started. I can't go down that there because the same bank that the PLP rescued doesn't necessarily rescue its pensioners and some of its employees the same way. I declare my interest. My 93-year-old mother is a pensioner of that organization. Served her life there, working alongside people like former Member of Parliament Colin Bembo, who was in the educational officer, with people like Mr. Brock and the like. Okay, so you got. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I'm here to say this, that when you look at the context of what took place between 2008 and 2012, Madam Acting Speaker, when you look at what took place between 2008 and 2012, there's no reason why deficit spending occurred. The government had no choice. And yes, when members would come, and Honorable Member Cannoner would know better, having been the premier in 2012, that he had to make decisions based on and recalibrate and work through it. So I could accept that he couldn't find an increase in 13 and 14. But 15, 16, and 17, to finally come up at 17 on the eve of an election, doesn't show that seniors factored into the mindset at that particular time. Now, what does that mean? Is that a senior in this country who didn't have a increase, incrementally though it be, prevented them from keeping pace. They, as my late neighbor and mentor, PTB director used to tell me, you know, you got to have that incremental saving. You just build up incrementally. But when you take away from people incrementally, you're doing that much damage, and you don't get caught up when you're taking back. The one thing, and when I talk about the mindset, this government has made sure that increases have happened. Number of homeless people. Increase. You'll have your chance. You'll have your time to talk. We're talking about pensions. Pensions have increased, and seniors can count on it. I wish I heard opposition members as exercised about the increase of cheese that I've had to endure over the last 25 years, as they do with the fact that we have found a way, unlike them, to make sure that our folk can somehow see that we are committed to them in this way. So yes, I'm here to say I'm very pleased, Madam Acting Speaker, very pleased that we've had this put forward today. And I'm very pleased that the commitment of the government is to ensure that our seniors are cared to as best they can. Because it is difficult. Many of them are land rich and cash poor. May not that $100 or so, or a couple $100 here and there doesn't mean much to many. But when you retired in 1995 and you've lived a good life and you're still around at 90 odd and your pension doesn't even cover the insurance bill, that's a reality for many folks. And many folks will look at the government for the answer. But I would look for the opposition to be understanding that this government in this case is on a good wicket and has exercised, and most people, if they listen to the opposition, won't appreciate that this government has been fiscally prudent. And why? It's because we have engaged in fiscal prudent practices that's allowed us to pay down on the debt. And you don't do that with a windfall. You do that with incrementally doing the right things. The dollars mean that when you were doing the right thing, you just got a little bit more boon and benefit, and we appreciate that. And we'll do our best to make sure that it is properly distributed in that way. But albeit for us to be that forward thinking in the first place, to put ourselves in a position to be able to take advantage of such a boon, wouldn't it be? So, Mr. Speaker, Madam Acting Speaker, I just want to say thank you for these measures coming forward and led by a voice of support. Thank you.
Are there any other members who wish to speak? I recognize the member from constituency 30. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And first of all, I think the shadow minister on our side laid out our party's position quite well. I do support this pension increase. I rise today because I didn't really intend to speak today, but the debate has devolved a bit into a matter of ethos. And when you cast a wide brush on my colleagues and I have a problem with that. So I must clarify the ethos of the One Bermuda Alliance. We have supported every pension increase that the Progressive Labour Party has brought to this House. But we have a duty as the opposition to remind this government that at times seems to forget the aging population, the rising cost of living, and things that our constituents, all our constituents, are contending with now. So when we get, it isn't factually incorrect, I would say to you that I'll remember, because when we get up and we mention those things, it's twisted into us opposing or being doom and gloom or simply not accepting that the government is making any sort of progress. That has never been our position. Our position is we want sustainability, longevity. We do not want governance just for today. We want governance for today and for the future generations. And that is the ethos of the One Bermuda Alliance. Not just for today, but for future generations. It is easy to govern for now. And we've seen this on many different occasions, because when we got into our contentious thing, and well understood, the contentiousness over the airport, but certain members in this chamber have had the most use of that airport, I would say, since then. More so than on my side. And for the cost of living, when it came to the aging population, legislation was brought forward. It was contentious. Maybe it could have been amended. But again, not much was done since then, 10 years ago, and we find ourselves in an aging demographic crisis in which there will not be potentially enough ratepayers to sustain the benefits, to sustain what we're doing today. As the Shadow Minister pointed out, 18 years. 18 years, my son won't even be finished college yet. That's not sustainable. That's not governing for the future. That is our problem. And before any member opposite gets to their feet and continues to try to frame this argument that the One Bermuda Alliance simply does not want to support a pension increase, they will be categorically incorrect. They cannot point to one time on the Hansard that we have voted against a pension increase. But we continue and will continue, apparently much to the vexation of government, to argue for sustainability for our future generations and to make sure that sound principles of governance and fiscal responsibility are employed in our pension. And yes, increase, of course, because as the honorable member just said, the price of cheese is going up. Our seniors need help. Yes. But there will be more seniors. There will be a time when I am a senior. There will be a time where, well, I'm going to try. You see, yes, thank you. But it's going to be a time where there are going to be future generations of seniors. And the problem is when you look at governance today, a lot of members who are passing these legislation and increases will not be here to reap the rewards or benefits. And if we continue to govern the way we're going, what's going to be left for my son? What's going to be left for our children in this chamber if we do not continue to put emphasis on sustainability and longevity? There are people right now in the civil service that feel despondent that they have to work longer to retire, that they may not get the full benefits if they have to go past 65 now. This is a real thing that I know they've heard because we've all heard it. And we're not talking to a different electorate. We're knocking on doors. We're all hearing it, civil servants that are tired, but have been told that they must work longer because of decisions made by the future. They might not like it, but that is the truth of what people are feeling and what they are telling their representatives. I invite them to explain it, but at the end of the day, I'm just conveying what my constituents are conveying to me. They can take their time to refute it if they wish. But I wanted to take to my feet simply to reframe this debate, that it is two sides that support increases to pension. But, there you go, there you go. But this is the problem. And I think it's disingenuous to the listening audience that the government continues to mislead the people on this particular point, because we have agreed and we continue to support increase in pensions. We want longevity and sustainability. That's all. And I invite the members to bring their chirps to the floor when they're ready to speak during their time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to speak? But before I allow the other member to speak, I would like to recognize that sitting in our gallery is the Attorney General, Senator Kim Wilson, Minister of Legal Affairs. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Madam Acting Speaker. I, much like the member who just took his seat, I was not planning on speaking, but I must admit his comments inspired me to do so. Because one of the key factors in this debate, Madam Acting Speaker, and what we are positioning ourselves is a difference of political ideology. So what the opposition have said is that when they took government, they faced hard times, difficult times, and thus had to take out a loan to pay the civil service. That is their argument. What I'm saying is that what they're saying is they faced hard times, and as a result, the seniors had to suffer. What we are telling you, Mr. Speaker, or Madam Acting Speaker, is that we too faced hard times in the middle of a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. And our ideology said, under no circumstances will we not fulfill our commitment by increasing the pensions of our seniors. That is political ideology. So that argument, if you notice, silence, and that's how I like it. Yes? Now there's an argument, Madam Acting Speaker, about sustainability, about the fact that the fund is running out. However, I will remind the people and this honorable House that it was this government that has now gotten us to a balanced budget. Now, keep in mind, Madam Acting Speaker, that is a balanced budget before receiving any dollar from corporate income tax. That is important, because what they will continue to try to emphasize is the fact that we are benefactors of CIT, failing to realize that we reached a significant milestone of which they were unable to achieve without a dollar of corporate income tax. We are then talking about a government that had the hard conversations and made the difficult decisions and have now stood on this floor and said that we have now stabilized our PSSF. So this is a space where I'm now saying the future of social insurance is in good hands. We will, as we have always done, make the necessary decisions to ensure that the fund is sustainable beyond 18 years. That is a fact. We have, the trend is there. So where we are, Madam Acting Speaker, in this debate, to me, comes down to three things. The first is that this is a promise made and a promise that continues to be kept. 8 years. This is the 8th time that we have increased or proceeding to increase pensions for our seniors. That is significant. It then sends out a message. And a message that if we want to talk about the ethos of the Progressive Labor Party, is that we revere our seniors. We respect their contributions and all that they have done for this country. And so we will continue to make the decisions, and we will continue to honor our commitment. And so again, and then my third point, and I led to it earlier, was the fact that we have a history of fiscal prudence. I will remind the public, and I will remind honorable members, that whilst the OBA were in government, they received a ratings downgrade.
Talk about it.
Under this Progressive Labor Party, we are now proud to say that we have a ratings upgrade. That is a fact. No opinions yet. And so with that, Mr. Speaker, Madam Acting Speaker, I will begin to wrap up because I think my point is made. And I ultimately just wanted to lend support, appreciate the opposition's support of this bill as well. Absolutely. But I just wanted to correct the record because I believe that the previous speakers on the opposite side said some misleading comments that were not correct, and I just wanted to stand up and make that note. So with that, Madam Acting Speaker, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, member. Are there any other members who wish to speak to the bill? There being no other members, I call on the minister. Are there other members? Member, are you going to speak? Okay, I recognize the member from constituency 29. Minister, you have the floor.
Apologies, Acting Speaker. I saw one of my colleagues standing up in the back.
Okay.
But obviously he was having a chat. Madam Acting Speaker, I'd like to thank the Finance Minister and Premier for giving our seniors $3,000 more a year. Notwithstanding the fact that members opposite referred to it as a little bump. $3,000 may not mean much to some of those on the other side, but we know it means a hell of a lot to our seniors. When you hear members opposite saying 1.74%, and I will quote, it should be more, and it should be more rapid and be more urgent. And you've heard from many members on this side, Madam Acting Speaker, they had 5 years. Where was the urgency? Where was the rapidness when they were in power? I'll take a point of order, but there is none. And it's a reason for that. Madam Deputy Speaker, but I can't say anything when you're talking facts like these. Madam Acting Speaker, they said when they were in government, they didn't have any money to give any increases. But you will know,
They found $100 million.
they found money for the America's Cup, $100 million. They found millions of dollars for a commission of inquiry. They found money for an airport. They took away the airport, Madam Deputy Speaker, had a surplus of between $10 and $14 million a year. Let me emphasize that. The airport, the old airport, had a surplus of $10 to $14 million a year. So they took that away. They took that surplus away and gave away our airport. That continues to cost this country millions and millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. The $14 million a year that we lost, and we won't talk about the MRGs that we paid out.
Oh, yes, $50 million.
$50 million in MRGs. $50 million.
Tell the seniors money doesn't grow on trees.
But you can tell our seniors that money does not grow on trees. They said, Madam Acting Speaker,
Grumble, grumble.
they said that they couldn't pay employees.
We got Shanghai.
They couldn't pay employees. Again, they found hundreds of millions of dollars for their agenda.
Yep.
Their agenda. Now, that fella chirping, that honorable member chirping over the back shouldn't speak at all this week after what he said last week about those people. I guess our seniors are proud of those people too, ain't they? So, Madam Acting Speaker, Madam Acting Speaker, some of the things, when you hear members opposite, we didn't have a deficit. Well, of course they didn't have a deficit. I'm talking about the OBA, some of your former colleagues, some of them still present. They said they didn't have a deficit. Yeah, right? Yeah. They didn't have a deficit, but they didn't have at-risk youth programs. They did not. When we came on board, Madam Acting Speaker, we had to close 2 seniors' homes, if you recall. And what did we have to do? One of them was in, I believe, Member Renee Ming's constituency, the seniors' home down by the golf club. That was one of them. The other one was out Pembroke. So we had to close 2 seniors. They were in such bad shape that we had to close them. Our ferries. There's unreliable ferries prior to 1998. That's correct. The unreliable ferries. No air conditioned, buses, no air conditioned. Think about that. But when we came on board, what did we do?
Triple the debt.
What did they do with financial assistance? What did they do? Zero. Very, very little. What do we do for financial assistance? We spend over $1 million a week. That's what we do for our people.
Because more people need financial assistance.
Madam Deputy Speaker, let me remind those opposite that between 1998 and 2007, the GDP in this country doubled. It increased more than any time in our history under this Progressive Labour Party government. Now, the honourable member who took his seat, I think it's from constituency 30. He said, what's going to be left for his son? We've made it very clear, Madam Deputy Speaker, and as was very well articulated by the Minister of Public Works, we have fixed PSSF, and we have made it very clear that this reform will continue to take place under this government. I am very confident. I'm not sure if I'll be here, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm not sure if you'll be here either. But in 1942, I am confident that this government will make sure that our seniors during that period will be covered as well. And what gives me confidence is that I know that the people of this country have shown the confidence in us to run this country. I see no reason why that shouldn't continue for the next couple of decades. In fact, I'm fairly certain if we stay on the track that we are, I'll go to my grave not seeing ever again another OBA government.
There'll be 8 people left, but that's fine. All right.
But Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm gonna finish where I started. $3,000 may not seem much to those on the other side, but we know that $3,000, $230 a month means a lot to some of our seniors, if not all of them. And I would thank the Finance Minister for sticking to his promise of increasing the pensions for seniors in this country every year. And what that does, Madam Speaker, it speaks to this government. We have shown over and over and over that we care for the people of this country, from top to bottom, whether it's giving our mothers daycare allowance, whether it's giving our seniors future care. We can sit here for an hour and give that list. But what we know is that the people of this country do appreciate us because they've shown that 3 elections in a row. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Are there any other persons who wish to speak? I recognize the member from constituency 4. Minister, you have the floor.
Madam Acting Speaker, I won't be long, but I do feel definitely compelled to speak on behalf of seniors as representation for the Ministry of Youth, Social Development and Seniors. Madam Acting Speaker, I don't think we even really need to stand up and debate that this is an excellent bill. I constantly get calls every year from seniors asking, Minister, when are we getting our increase? When are we getting our increase? Because they understand that this government has made a promise to them to be consistent with this increase every year. Every year, Madam Acting Speaker. It doesn't matter the amount. What matters is that it happens. It is consistent, and we have made a promise to be consistent with increases for our seniors. And so I just want to stand to say this is a no-brainer, Madam Acting Speaker. And to our seniors who are listening, it's coming. It's coming September 15th, 2026. So look out for your seniors increase. It's coming. Thank you, Madam Acting Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any other members who wish to speak to the bill? There being no other members, I call on the Minister. And Premier, sorry.
Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for the contributions of colleagues, and I recognize that It is a particular, what seems to my word, skill of the opposition to, sit on both sides of the fence, one and the other, or we support but. But the honorable minister who represents constituency number 19, the honorable minister of Public Works and Environment, put it better than I could. Because he reminded us, Mr. Speaker, that all governments have hard times. That all governments govern through difficult times. But it's the question of the decisions that you make during those difficult times. Because it would have been easy for us to say, no, we're not going to give seniors pension increases, but we didn't. We made sure that we did and found out the mechanism of which to do so. And so to hear the honorable member when he gets up and says his comments and his point about saying, well, there's, we only want to do it if it's a responsible thing to do. It's a responsible thing to do.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. The Premier is misleading. That's not what...
Point of order? So what's that?
Those comments were not made on this side of the House. We said we supported the increase.
Okay.
Thank you.
Support the increase.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member will note and recognize that not everything is done in a verbatim fashion. He got up and said that we need to make sure that if we're doing these things, it is sustainable. That's what he said. And here's the thing, Mr. Speaker. At the same points in time, he gets up and argues that the fund is not sustainable. You understand what I'm saying? At the same points in time, he gets up and says the fund is not sustainable. So under one point, the fund is not sustainable. He gets up and tells people, don't rely on it. Don't rely on it because it's not going to be there. But then he says, and we wouldn't, the excuse is that we didn't want to give increases because we didn't think the fund was sustainable. That's all the things which he said. Looking back on history. All the things he said looking back on history.
The Premier is misleading the House. I did not say we think this fund is unsustainable. We have an actuarial report provided by the government. It states as a matter of actuarial opinion that the fund is not sustainable. That's not our opinion. That's about as factual as it gets up here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So, Mr. Speaker, those facts of which the honorable member represents the same exact facts they were in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, when they did not give a pension increase, Mr. Speaker. The facts are the same. And so it then explains the reason why. It explains the reasons why, Mr. Speaker.
Members, I would like to hear the Premier without having to filter through all that
It explains the reason why. It explains the reason why the Honorable Minister for position number 19, the Honorable Minister of Public Works and Environment, Josh Adams, says it speaks to the philosophy. Because yes, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice of what is important to you. And what is important to this government is by ensuring that we put forward the monies that we promise our seniors, Mr. Speaker. That is where we are, Mr. Speaker. They can chirp as much as they want because it burns them, Mr. Speaker, that over 4 years in government, they told seniors who were experiencing hard times then as well. That's right. No, you don't. Eve of an election, okay, let's go ahead and give them a little token increase so we can, keep them silent. Mr. Speaker, that is a difference. And so today, I am happy that the opposition is finally trying to come around. But I want the people to hear very carefully what the shadow Minister of Finance said.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable member is misleading the House. Intentionally misleading the House. He says, finally coming around. In this chamber, we have supported tons of bills.
And every time when he pensions.
Specifically to the Premier. To get up and say and to infer that, finally we're coming around. We're certainly not coming around to green. But we certainly are agreeing that there are some good bills, and some good things.
So the point that you are making is that you want the listening audience to hear that the opposition has agreed with the government on many occasions. There you go. Particularly,
I want the public to hear that it's misleading the House to infer that we don't agree on things in this House. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker,
the opposition wants you to know that
Mr. Speaker, I did not say that.
Often, Premier.
I've said at many points in time that most of the things that come to the House, 90% of the things are approved, but I want people to know and understand and listen and hear what the Shadow Minister of Finance said. Because it is important, again, Mr. Speaker, it is important that people know and understand. Because that party has a history of saying many things before an election and then changing their mind afterwards. And so you must be very careful of listening into the words. What did he say, Mr. Speaker? He said,
we had to deceive you. Come on, bro. Change their position.
see, Mr. Speaker, point of order, Mr. Speaker, and I just need to make the point, if we were making this much noise, you would have told us to quiet down, Mr. Speaker.
Speak to me. Here we are.
I'm just saying, we have to be kept fair on both sides, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. I'm listening to the Premier, and we need to hear what the Premier is saying.
So here we are, Mr. Speaker. It is important because the fact that the pension fund is not fully funded has been the same situation in 2013, 14, 15, 16, when they did not give increases. Yet we, hold on a second. We, see, this is the point. We make different decisions. You're making my point for me. We make different decisions. So unlike the other side, Mr. Speaker, who said, oh, we need to make sure we're responsible, that's the reason why we're not going to give increases. We have a different view that we will give the increases.
What's your point of order?
The Premier, again, continues to mislead the House. My colleague said we need to ensure it's sustainable, and that is why we would reform. We make the increases, but take action, which is why my original comment said we support this, but we are disappointed in the government's lack of action. 2013, 2016, 2016 report, 2019 report, all these pension reports say the same thing. 8 years, no action. Thank you.
Basically, because we're a political organization, we have different philosophies. We may want to try to get down the same road, but there's different philosophies, and one side's expressing their viewpoint of their philosophy, and the other side's expressing their viewpoint of their philosophy. We may agree, they may never agree on philosophy. What they agree on is getting down the road to the same point, maybe, but not on philosophy.
So again, Mr. Speaker, because as I'm going to try to make my point uninterrupted, and given that I am the last speaker, I have unlimited time, I'm going to do this, and I hope we're not here until 5, because I just sincerely hope the opposition will listen to the point of which I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker, because I think
we're all in agreement that we won't be here until 5 o'clock with this. That's for sure.
Because I think that it is important, Mr. Speaker. Because this is an important point. And I go back to what the Minister of Public Works and Environment said. The honorable member, the Shadow Minister of Finance, can't have his cake and eat it too. He can't have his cake and eat it too. You need to actually understand and read through the lines, Mr. Speaker, because it is the same approach that led the seniors in this country to being told that money doesn't grow on trees. His view, of which he's saying, is that the fund is not sustainable, and that's the reason why not to give pension increases.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
He is misleading the House again. It's not my view. It is the professional actuarial opinion as provided by the government to this honorable House. Black and white. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Basically, what the Premier is saying is that the report may state what it states. The view of how you handle the information is different because it's two different viewpoints.
Mr. Speaker, they know the point. They just can't get past the fact that for 4 years they told the seniors of this country no. No. Oh, well, I'll tell you what we did do in 8 years. We did raise seniors' pensions every year by the rate of inflation. We made sure that, unlike them asking public us to take furlough days, Mr. Speaker, we went ahead and made sure they got increases. We made sure, Mr. Speaker, that we expanded benefits.
That's what you did.
Members, the Premier is trying to wrap up. The longer he has to fight over the crowd, we could be here till 5 o'clock, and no one wants to be here till 5 o'clock. So suggest if we turn it down, we can get the Premier to his endpoint quicker.
Mr. Speaker, they want me to move on, but I have not been able to make my point because they continue to get interrupted.
And we want you to make your point.
I'm trying, Mr. Speaker. I'm trying, trust me. But every single time, the honorable member who got up and said, the reason why, paraphrasing now, before he points to order that it's a quote, the reason why that, increases may not have been given is because the fund is not sustainable. That is the reality then. It is the reality now. An actual report which states the condition of the fund does not dictate how the government acts. Their view was, because the fund says this, the report says this, we are not going to give an increase. When we saw that, we said we understand what the fund says, but we are going to give an increase. There is the difference of approach, and that is what the public need to know, hear, and understand, because the man who would be Minister of Finance is adopting the exact same approach that the former Minister of Finance had.
Point of order.
What's your point of order?
The Premier is saying I'm adopting the former approach. I have my own approach, Mr. Speaker, which has been laid out and supported by my colleagues here. He does not speak for me, and I ask him to keep it to the factual things which he can refer to, not mislead the House. Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Speaker,
they said you can't read his mind and speak.
Mr. Speaker, I know the philosophy of which he approaches, and that is the exact same way. Remember, he started his comments, Mr. Speaker, by saying, if inside of these reports, etc., is not sustainable, that's probably the reason why they didn't give an increase. That's fine. That's okay. He can have that position, Mr. Speaker. But the public needs to know and understand what that position leads to. That position leads to what the public saw under the One Bermuda Alliance government with no pension increases. That's what that view leads to, Mr. Speaker. That's factual, and that has happened. So, Mr. Speaker, now having point of order, I will try to move on. So now here's what's important as well, Mr. Speaker, because the Speaker burns them so much. It burns them so much that on this particular issue, their history is what it is. And you realize how much more noise they're making?
You'll be all right.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to go to my notes.
Okay.
Just to make sure that everyone in this country knows and recognizes what this change actually means to them, Mr. Speaker, because I don't want our senior citizens to know, to recognize, and to understand that this does not actually mean a change. So let me go ahead again, Mr. Speaker. So the basic contributory pension, Mr. Speaker, will go up in our time in office, has gone up by the basic, by just under $200 a month, or $2,350 a year. That's what this government has done by keeping our faith with seniors and making sure that we increase their pensions. The overall rate of increase since this time of which we've been doing this, which is compounded over time, is now up to 19%, Mr. Speaker. That is important, matching the rate of inflation over that time. And then the maximum contributory pension, Mr. Speaker, has gone up by $271 a month, Mr. Speaker. $271 a month, which is over $3,000 a year when added up. That is the difference that the consistent record of increases of the contributory pension benefits has meant. And that, Mr. Speaker, is a good thing for our seniors. I want to repeat it. The last time I said it in my statement, but I'm going to do it again. Because the marked contrast between 2013, no. 2014, no. 2015, no. 2016, oh, it's election. Let's give them an increase that comes into effect. That, Mr. Speaker, is their record. But let's point to our record. 2017 increase, 2018 increase, 2019 increase, 2021 after the COVID pandemic increase for 2 years, so it was above the rate of inflation. 2023 increase at the rate of inflation, 4.1%. 2024 2.4%. 2025 2.3%, and 2026 1.74%. We continue to keep our word, and the one thing that I have faith and confidence in, Mr. Speaker, that the Progressive Labor Party will keep faith with its election promise. And its election promise is that we will continue to ensure that contributory pension benefits go up with the rate of inflation. That is in our platform. That is our solemn promise. That is something that this government has continued to deliver, and we will continue to deliver going future. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I move that the said draft order be approved and a suitable message be sent to His Excellency the Governor.
Thank you, Premier. The matter has been agreed by the House so that the appropriate letter will be sent. Thank you. Yeah. she wanted to get up in the chair and take us to committee. And that, members, brings us to a close of the matter in reference to the Contributory Pension Amendment of Contributions and Benefits Order 2026. The item number 2 is carried. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I do note, but I would like to make a statement, if I could, on this particular matter. That I know that because it's a disappointment. Number 2 is the report, right?
No.
Number 2 is justice.
Justice.
Then I will defer on that one.
Okay. Number 2 is carried.
We will carry it, unfortunately.
Okay. Number 3 is the motion that was done by the Honorable Premier in reference to the Commission of Inquiry.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And that's being carried over too, and you would like to make an explanation on it carried over?
Mr. Speaker, I wish to make a statement on this, Mr. Speaker, just to make sure that it's put on the record, because it is, in my opinion, Mr. Speaker, particularly unfair to the persons and the families and to this House and all the rest of these things who went ahead and put together this report. Mr. Speaker, I note that members opposite have introduced...
Let me just say that it's a commitment to make sure it gets done alongside the right parameters in place. So I don't want to feel like it's being blocked unnecessarily here. And I think you and I have talked about that quite a bit to make sure that all what could be seen as issues, I'll use that word, we're going to iron out all those issues so that we can go forward and have the matter discussed at the appropriate time.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form, but I think that the members of the public deserve an explanation, especially the people who've written to yourself, who've written to myself, etc., all the rest. We went through this, we came to a space of agreement, and I note that there was something that additional was introduced on this. I sincerely hope that we recognize that these are old matters, and I would reach out to the Leader of the Opposition and say, let's move this forward together. There is no reason why the opposition needs to continue to object to us putting forward this motion. Let's put it forward so we can have it.
Take a seat.
That's not what happened.
Take a seat. It's not the objection of the opposition. It's the introduction of facts that we have to verify to make sure the facts are clear in the way that we move forward. And it's not, there's been no, how do I want to put that? There has been no position that says that this is where another organization stands versus where the government stands. It's here are facts on the table. Our job as a parliament is to make sure the facts give us the latitude to do what we need to do. And we're doing the assessment of it. You know,
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
I think you know clearly that it's a matter that we'd like to see proceed. But it has to make sure
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker, and I sincerely hope that we can have a written ruling, and I would hope and indicate that members opposite, if they have an objection to this matter progressing, as they said, or introducing new information, that they can put those matters in writing.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
As the government has put those matters in writing to the chair.
We'll iron out any issues that's come so that when we get to the point, we won't have to start a debate with this type of issue. We cleared it out. We gave a path that will get us into the debate without this being part of the debate. Okay? Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm assuming item number 4 has been carried over.
Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, not to be pedantic and carry on this, but if we as the opposition don't give a statement as well on this issue, it's one-sided.
You took 2 swipes out of it.
Yeah, it's one-sided, and it has been unfair, quite frankly, today.
Mr. Whip, I give you an opportunity to clarify anything you need to be clarified on this, but
yeah,
let's not set.
What I
should have cautioned.
Oh, sorry.
was that let's not set this as a precedent that we get up when something's not being done and try and have a discussion on why it's not being done. A decision was made that it's either done or not done, and we stand by that. But I gave latitude to the Premier, so now I'm obligated to give latitude to you guys, to the opposition. So
thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will simply say this.
I'm going to guide you to be justice brief.
I will say three sentences and sit down. The impression was twice given in this honorable House by the honorable Premier that the reason that the motion is not progressing is owing to some sort of objection by the opposition. Nothing could be further from the truth. Our Parliament is governed by rules and standing orders. You were made aware of the relevant rule and standing order. We have a rule of sub judice. You were made aware of it. You were made aware by the court of what cases are proceeding before the court, and you made your ruling, and your ruling was that the motion did not proceed. The suggestion that we did anything other than draw to the attention of the Speaker's office what was going on in the court and the proper rules, that's all we did, and we did not block. We just follow the rules around here. Thank you.
I will state that information has been brought to my attention. That information will be assessed. That information will be assessed, and the decision will be made when we proceed. Okay? And I think that covers everybody in the room on that point. Okay? Premier, the item number 4. Item number 4 is being carried as well. And would you like to move it to...
No problem, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to raise a point of order.
Point of order?
The point of order is, Mr. Speaker, that the government is in possession of a written ruling from yourself on this matter, and the information that was introduced predates that ruling. So all I was asking is to ensure that we can get a written ruling on this matter. That is it.
And Mr. Premier, I would really value the behind the closed schools conversation doesn't make it to this floor. I really would appreciate that. This conversation is going down a road that is bringing closed-door conversations into a space that should never have been discussed in the public. That was conversations of us trying to work this thing out, and you know that my office has done a heck of a lot to try and get us down the road. And we've been very accommodating to both sides to make sure that we get a clear path without anything that's going to come back and hinder us later on in life on this matter. Life, not our life, but I mean the function of Parliament when it comes to making decisions on sub judice. We've got to protect the precedents that's set, and that's why we're taking the course that we're taking to make sure. And the conversations that we have had, both sides, behind closed doors, are supposed to remain behind closed doors, Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I will...
And you know, I have given a commitment to make sure we move down the way that provides the latitude for us to go. The information and the ladder that you referred to was predated recent information that's been presented. If the recent information presents and needs to be clarified, then the best thing for us to do is to clarify that information before we proceed. Doing that, and you know that. That's what we talked about already.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just only asked to make sure that we can get a written ruling on the particular matter. That was it. I think that it is important for the House.
Premier?
Not with...
I'm done, Premier.
I'm trying to move to...
Premier, I've asked that we don't continue this conversation, because the more we continue, our private conversations, behind closed doors conversations, are being exposed where they shouldn't be exposed. And let me clarify for the listening audience. The closed door conversations are something that happen regularly in this chamber between members of both sides when matters are on the floor. This isn't a separate case of how things are handled. It's a regular occurrence that behind closed doors, conversations take place to resolve issues that come before the House. And the worst thing that we want to do is set a precedent where those private, behind closed door conversations now become conversations that take place in this room. It's just not the precedents we want to set. Because then it's going to question whether or not we can have open and frank conversations behind closed doors to resolve a matter without the fear of it coming in public knowledge. Every negotiation has closed door conversations that don't come out in the public. And this is where we are today on this matter. And the commitment is that we're going to find a way forward, but we have to just deal with what's been presented. That's all it is. And I prefer that we end this conversation here and now. Thank you.
No worries, Mr. Speaker. I await the ruling, and thank you. And I move this honorable House to now adjourn until Friday, July 17th.
Thank you. Does any member wish to speak to that? Minister Furbert?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to just highlight an area that we don't highlight enough, but we all have the opportunity to use their service. And that is the fire and ambulance service, Mr. Speaker. If anyone in our community has had the opportunity to experience their service, it is an exceptional service. And I want to applaud the teams within Bermuda's fire and ambulance team who endure and witness many health emergencies. And they do it with such profession and professional service. And so I do want to take the time to applaud Bermuda's fire and ambulance service. And anytime anyone ever experiences their service, that they should let them know how they are doing. Mr. Speaker, I do want to speak to an issue. I have to take the mint out of my mouth, my apologies. And that is an issue that has been recently in the news in regards to senior abuse. Mr. Speaker, every year in budget debate, I take the opportunity to share what senior abuse is looking like for us here in Bermuda. As a minister who has responsibility for youth, social development, and seniors, but we all have responsibility for youth, social development, and seniors, I do not take lightly any senior abuse. And anyone that takes it upon themselves to abuse a senior, and it is notified through the Office of Aging and Disability Services, will be prosecuted to the fullest. Now, Mr. Speaker, it has been recently reported the numbers that have increased as it relates to senior abuse, and I want to add some context to that, because we do now have an aging demographic. We know that our numbers as far as persons who are seniors are increasing, and they will increase year after year, so we will see an increase in numbers. And there are many reasons why a senior may experience abuse. First of all, I want to clarify that it is wrong for any senior to be abused. But the number one category in which seniors are being abused is psychological, meaning people are using words, being coercive, saying the wrong bad things to seniors, which can be very traumatic because, you know, words can sometimes hurt more than the actual physical abuse. And usually when physical abuse occurs, psychological abuse occurs before that. But there are many categories, so I just don't want to use the terms senior abuse. There is psychological, there's physical, there's financial abuse. And actually, the numbers for financial abuse have actually gone down from last year to this year. So the awareness that we have been doing in the public domain as far as aging and disability services, and I want to acknowledge the Bermuda Police Service, who also have taken a handle in making sure that we educate our community, and particularly our seniors, around financial abuse, is working. But it is not just a campaign or an awareness that we must do once a year. We all have seniors in our lives. Particularly us as MPs, we have many seniors in our lives. And we must take responsibility in sharing what those red flags are for senior abuse. There can be very difficult circumstances for seniors, particularly living with family members, because that is, we know, we have research that tells us that family members are actually the ones that are abusing seniors. But it can be very difficult for seniors when they have to rely on someone to help them. as we get older, we all will have to rely on someone to help us. So how you raise your children is important. How you make them responsible, Mr. Speaker, is important. How you teach them morality and how to have moral behaviors is important, Mr. Speaker. So that there are some values that we have or we would have learned or would have been educated to as it relates to treating and respecting our seniors. Mr. Speaker, there also has been reporting from the opposition in regards to the Office of Public Guardian. And I'm glad we both agree on both sides of this House that the Office of Public Guardian is something that is needed.
Here. Agreed.
But to say that this government is failing in the area of the Office of Public Guardian, that's what was reported in the paper, that this government has failed. Well, I would say the OBA failed because they first introduced the Office of the Public Guardian. But don't worry, Mr. Speaker, we will get it done. Yes. We will get it done because we are a government that has consistently demonstrated that when we say we're going to do something, we will do it.
It could take 30 years.
It could take 30 years for you. Mr. Speaker, we are proud to announce that we have drafting instructions within our chambers, and the AG will speak more to it soon. But we are progressing the Office of the Public Guardian for our seniors so that they can have additional protection. So when it does come to this House, I would appreciate the banging on the tables even more.
Yes. We said we would.
Because we will get it done. And you will see, again, because this government's promise kept,
yes,
we will see who the real failures are, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Does any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? You're packing up to go?
Oh, no, I'm stepping up.
Oh, you're standing up to speak. And Junior Minister Lister, you have your 20 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I won't take 20 minutes, Mr. Speaker, but in the vein of the speaker before me, Mr. Speaker, I just want to raise a issue, Mr. Speaker. There's a saying, he who knows it feels it best, Mr. Speaker. And I say that because I was shocked and surprised this past week. I live in the West End, and if you live between, I'm going to narrow it down a bit, but if you live between Barnes Corner and Somerset Bridge, Mr. Speaker, and you are a client of HSBC, Mr. Speaker, there's only one location that you can go to do some banking at the ATM, at Port Royal gas station or Bale Bay, Port Royal, but that's the only ATM. Well, Mr. Speaker, to my surprise last week, as I said, I live in the area and I went down to the gas station to go to the ATM, and I walked in and I went to where it was, and the ATM's going, Mr. Speaker. Shocked and totally surprised, so I went to the cashier and asked what had happened. And the cashier said they were told that the machine is going to be taken away and it won't be replaced, no further instruction. So, Mr. Speaker, that left me upset, because if you live in between Somerset Bridge and I said Barnes Corner, but if you really think about it, the next ATM for HSBC is at Warwick gas station down by the Bill. So you live between Warwick and Somerset Bridge, and if you're an HSBC customer, you have nowhere to go to use an ATM. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm inconvenienced. I now have to go up into Somerset. Yes, there's a branch up there of ATMs, or on my way traveling to work, I have to stop at Warwick gas station. But, Mr. Speaker, as I said, he who knows it feels it best, because there are many people that live in that area that I mentioned that now they have to change how they when they have to go to the bank. If you lived in Granaway Heights, Spring Benny, Georges Bay, Rockaway, Mr. Speaker, you knew that if you had to go get some cash, you run to the ATM, make a withdrawal, or they have the ATMs where you can do your deposits and transfers. So you don't have to go to the bank to go in to make a transfer to another account if it's an HSBC account, because you could do it at the ATMs. Mr. Speaker, that has been taken away from. And I will say, Mr. Speaker, if there is a plan that HSBC has to install a new ATM there, communication is good, because as I said, when I spoke to the cashier, they told that there was, they're just taking it away. And to the point that the gas station even has a petition there for anyone who comes in and you would regularly use that ATM, they can sign the petition, and which I did, Mr. Speaker, because I said it impacts me. I now have to go further out of my way to go to the ATM if I want to take out from my HSBC account up into Somerset, or as I said, on my way driving to work. So, Mr. Speaker, and as I said, I understand that the bank might have its reasons, but it should be communicated because it has inconvenienced its customers. And, Mr. Speaker, I think at minimum, when we talk about minimum access to banking, I think having an ATM in an ideal location to service its customers is a minimum level or access of banking, and I think that has been taken away from its customers. So, as I said, Mr. Speaker, as I live in the area, and there are many area residents, MP De Silva lives in the area, MP Scott Simmons, MP Jamal Simmons, their constituents will be impacted by this. So I want to speak on behalf of those that are impacted, and just to raise this to HSBC, if it is that they are taking it away for good, I ask better communication. If they are replacing it, again, better communication to the customers in the area that use that ATM, because it impacts them. And we have seniors that live in the area, the Rockaway Seniors Home, and there are probably seniors that go there to get cash out they need it. Now they have to go further out the way, especially if they have limited transportation, to now get cash. So it impacts a lot of people, Mr. Speaker. So again, I don't want to speak too much on that, but again, it's just raising that concern that it has impacted a lot of people, and we would love to hear more from HSBC on what the plans are to do in that location. Mr. Speaker, switching gears here, the downside of us having sessions in the House every other week is that we did not have Parliament on the Friday after Father's Day. And I know there may have been some that said Happy Father's Day, but Mr. Speaker, I didn't get a chance to speak to Happy Father's Day, not just to you, but to all fathers. But that is not where I'm going at, Mr. Speaker.
New father. Yeah.
What I'm going at, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
That's what he wanted. Here's a new father.
Yes, I am a new father. I declare my interest. But where I'm going at, that, Mr. Speaker, is last session in this House, MP Richardson, he did speak of road behavior and the increase in road deaths and things like that, Mr. Speaker. And he spoke a lot of what government can do and the police, more police enforcement. And I don't disagree with him, Mr. Speaker. But what I do go a bit further say is that, Mr. Speaker, it starts at home. Mm-hmm. And we have to, and I know not all homes come from dual-parent homes. There are different home situations. But I implore and I encourage on our fathers, our male figures, grandfathers, uncles, older brothers, cousins, the like, to speak to your young males in your family. The statistics show that young males, especially black males, are those that are most impacted are the accidents or fatalities on our roads. And so the minister who spoke before me, she said, it starts at home. And that's where we have to, withstanding the actions by government and the police, but it has to start at home. And Mr. Speaker, I'm going to use some of my own personal stories. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, before I got my bike at 16, Mr. Speaker, I can remember vividly many times driving in the car with you, and someone would overtake us on a bike, and you would, it's crazy, foolish doing all this here. I don't ever want to see you doing that on your bike. If not, I'm not going to say what the if not was, but you always said you never want to see us doing it on a bike. And Mr. Speaker, I did take that to heart, and I will declare there were times which I did go against that. As a youngster, I did speed. I did have those moments. But I always remembered, the things that you would say to us in the car or someone, you see someone else doing it, that stuck in my mind. And as I got older, you have to live by those things. As they say, if you train up a child, they'll remember it as they get older. And so it goes back to, again, Mr. Speaker, males and females, mothers, grandmothers, everyone is impacted by a road fatality. Again, but I implore and stress for our males to please step up. Take the time to speak to a young person in your family, and it doesn't have your family member. It could be someone in your neighborhood. You see them doing something wrong, going down the wrong way, or you have seen them on a bike. We see some crazy stuff, pop a wheelie on a corner, and overtaking in between vehicles. If you have seen someone, just take the time. It might seem kind of hard to go your way, but that 5 seconds can change or save someone's life. So, I encourage and implore the government. We did see last week the chairman of the Bermuda Road Safety Council announced that they will soon be launching the new Operation Road Safety Plan for 5 years. So the government is doing what we are doing. And again, the police, you will see the speed cameras coming on. All of those factors, plus with, as I said, males, females, mothers, fathers, everyone, just take the time out to talk to our young people. 5 minutes of fun can turn to a lifetime of pain and agony. And you have to balance that. And also sometimes, Mr. Speaker, which I reflect again as growing up in your household, Mr. Speaker, was that you made sure to instill in us a healthy fear of you, Mr. Speaker, so that we knew that if we did something wrong first, we had to face or answer to you first before we had to, answer for what we did wrong, Mr. Speaker. And I think, and that still stands with me today, Mr. Speaker. And so if we have more fathers and male influences, instilling a healthy bit of fear in the younger children, the grandchildren, that will help them when they have to go on in life to make decisions, because it's always, and I said this before in this house, Mr. Speaker, I remember in my elementary and middle school years, the first day of school, every day you said to the teacher that if I acted up in class, you can correct me, but then you let me know, and I'll get home, and you have to deal with me, Mr. Speaker. So, if we instill that in our children, again, that can make a big positive influence. We see a lot of antisocial behavior going on. There are many different reasons, but as I say, if we can get our males to stand up, Mr. Speaker, I can say I've had the can enough times, so I'm not going to disagree, Mr. Speaker. We can bring back the can because because it puts a healthy fear in our children, Mr. Speaker, and that's what we need. It's a health. When it comes to discipline, Mr. Speaker, there is a balance between. I don't want to say abuse, but it's a balance when it comes to discipline and correcting your children with doing it responsibly, and then you're going overboard. But we have to find that balance, Mr. Speaker. And I can say, Mr. Speaker, growing up, at the time I didn't think it was a balance, but I can look back now and say, that balance got me to where I am today, Mr. Speaker. So we need more of that in our society, and we are a village. We need to go back to that village. In the old school days, if you got in trouble in school, even without cell phones, by the time you got home, your granny already knew what happened. So you were getting cracked by your granny. And so we need to go back to those days. And within reason, we don't want to just be hitting young children for no reasons or, going overboard. But within reason, we have to bring back some discipline, correction. And it might seem hard, love hurts, tough love. They say if you love something, you do have to let it go. But if you hold on too long, it doesn't mean you love it because you sort of crush it. It's like a flower. You have to let it bloom. Can't hold it. Well, with our children and young people, we have to give them some tough love. And tough love means being hard. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means shuffling your cabinet. Sometimes it means saying no. Well, get rid of your leader. Sometimes it means saying no, Mr. Speaker. I'll stay out of that one, Mr. Speaker. but sometimes it means saying no when the child might want to hear a yes. But we have to be hard. We have to stand in as parents and as older people in society, we have to stand on our ground. And Mr. Speaker, earlier in debate, we heard a lot about seniors and when you will see pension. But Mr. Senior, I can guarantee, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senior, Mr. Speaker, I can guarantee you that if we were to survey most of our seniors in society, they will recall growing up when you got licks, when you got in trouble. But that's what made them, who they are today and got them through life. So if we want our young people to live to be productive members of society and to live to be seniors and to be able to benefit from the increase in pensions when they get to that age, Mr. Speaker, we have to instill in them the right morals, ethics, principles so that when they go through life, they can be positive in what they do. So, Mr. Speaker, as I said, I'm not going to be long. That was just my points I wanted to raise. But again, as I said, I didn't get to say it before, but to all fathers, and every day is a Father's Day, because Father's Day and Mother's Day, because they have to raise children. It's not a clock in, clock out job. It's a 24/7 job, Mr. Speaker. So all parents, I want to commend them for the jobs they do, but encourage them, and especially males, to step up and help, correct a young person where you can, because it might not only impact them, it impacts the wider community, because if they can go off to do something positive, they can come back and contribute positively to Bermuda. So with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, MP. Boy, we're going to do ladies first. How's that? MP Tucker? You have your 20 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will not be 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I cannot sit here, especially when comments have been made about an article that I put in the paper. And I have to address it. And I'm going to address it very briefly, but I just want to say that I am very happy to hear, and I will... Anytime I have spoken in this House or in the other place, if I felt like the government has done something well, I am the first to get up and celebrate it, right? I care about what's good for this country. What hasn't been good for this country, Mr. Speaker, is that a promise being made in a throne speech about having an office of the public guardian in 2020, and we are 6 years later, having paid people to work on the office of the public guardian, and we now find out that seniors' abuses increase and we have no office of the public guardian, and that is an issue. And so I just want to say, Mr. Speaker, that again, I am glad to know that it's coming. However, I will say, and I want to make it very clear that I will continue to speak about it until such time that it is in place. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Does any other member wish to speak? MP Richardson?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given the opportunity for bipartisanship on road safety, it behooves me to stand after MP Lister and to contribute where we can work together, we should. And so I want to endorse a lot of the points MP Lister was making, especially those that our behavior starts in the home and how much work it takes there. I was, Mr. Speaker, going to talk to the Road Safety Council's plan, but I'll have plenty of opportunity next week. I do not believe that it is what it should be, but again, in the spirit of bipartisanship, I want to reiterate that I agree with MP Lister's points, the vast majority of his points. I think that road safety is an issue that is imminently fixable if we work together as legislators. And to that end, I just want to say that I'll have the opportunity to speak a lot more on this issue next week, and I don't intend to preempt that debate.
Yeah, we wouldn't want you to preempt it.
And I'm very, very happy right now that it has the attention of enough people that this honorable House will have an opportunity to make a difference in the fight against the catastrophes that are happening on our roads and to our families. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Does any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? Opposition Whip.
Yes, just very quickly, on this roadside, I don't know who the national security representative is in the House of Assembly at this present time. Collective responsibility? Yeah, I just very quickly, I received an email, several emails actually, on the issue of Middle Road and the lights that lead up to, is it T Street? Yeah, that lead up to T Street. And those lights have been there for a while, some work getting done. And the emails were quite concerned. The fact that we had an accident on South Shore and then the road, everything was backed up. It took, for a 15-minute ride, hour and 20 minutes just to get into town. But today, what I witnessed on Middle Road and continue to witness on Middle Road at the Paget lights, and then today was even worse, is the fact that the lights are, and I call Public Works just to get a better understanding if they were aware of the timing of the lights. But there's a period in between the 2 minutes that you get to drive through or the 1 minute, and either way, going east or west. In between that, both lights are red. And they sit red for about a minute, and that is to allow traffic for the people who live in between that short space to be able to get out, to merge into the main road. What I continue to see is that they can't merge onto the main road because the main road and the people on the main road, when those two lights go red, continue driving through it. Now, there's a major accident about to happen. Today, during lunchtime, I was at the traffic light, it went red. Boom, okay, cool.
Stop.
I counted the cars, 16 cars continued to go through, just cars, until finally somebody said, let me just obey the law. 16 cars. I can't even tell you how many bikes went through. Both lights are red, and they're still going through, so I'm imploring whoever's going to be or representing national security in the House, something has to happen. Public Works is working on it. They've been communicating with the construction people. I talked to them, so they have been communicating. The problem is that right now on the roads, it is lawless. Complete, just do whatever. And you know what, it's funny because when you're on the road sometimes you say, that's got to be Pookie going through the. Why would he do that? Well, executives. Think about it. You think about it. Think about it. Right?
It's a Sir David
the typical profile that you would say, well, yeah, they're going to go through it, right? Everyone is going through this light. Everyone. And I for the life of me, public, please, you obey the law. The light is red. And then when something happens, guess what we do? I was racing, and we want to be sympathetic. And the Honorable Minister, who's just gotten up, Junior Minister of Finance, I just understand, and was a part of road safety, he's making a compelling appeal. We've completely lost it on the roads. Completely lost it. And then again, you open up the paper and you see the other day, another overturned car. On a straightaway this time. How does that happen? People are not paying attention. And this appeal is to the public. Listen, and to the police. I know you got challenges. We don't have a highways patrol like we used to. Something's got to happen, especially at points where we're talking about the Middle Road. There's going to be a catastrophe. And it's not the guys, just the guys, Minister. I'm watching the girls lick along. Also, so mentally, we're losing it. And just anything goes now. And that stretches across the whole spectrum of how we are living today. A lot of the problems that we have today is because we didn't use that rod. Lack of enforcement. Or the fear of the rod. And now everybody comes to the, and I'll say this here, many of us came up with single-parent homes with just a mother. If the father wasn't there, the mother held the line. And I dare say now, mothers aren't even holding the line because these kids are just doing whatever. Don't look at them wrong. Housing Minister, don't look at these kids wrong. So something's got to happen. The police need to get to some of these hot spots. And I'm imploring the government just to speak to the new National Security Minister. I don't have his number. Or the representative that is in here because I don't know who that is. Oh, yes, it's all of them. So all of you, better do something about getting some police down there. So no, I called yesterday. That's how I found out all about it. And then today I witnessed what I witnessed, right?
Just call them again.
Yes. Oh, they did. Yes, that's true. Yeah, you didn't get an answer because the one who emailed me said he didn't get an answer. No one answered the phone, so I'll get him to. No, I'm going to get him to call the Honorable Minister of Education, and he'll direct him in the right place.
Thank you. I was about to ask if anybody else. You look like you're going to sit down.
Yeah. I was going to say just one other thing I wanted to say. My grandson. Listen, I was helping my grandson. He came home. He's trying to get his bus pass, right? So he goes to the bus stop.
The bus terminal.
No, he goes to the bus terminal here in town. Yeah, the central bus terminal in town. They tell him, well, because he's in high school away, he can't get a pass. Huh? This is a tax-paying family. He can't get a pass. Where's the minister? Okay, so he can't get a pass. So, collective, yeah. I'm like, hey, what you talking about, Mike? Don't let me go down to that bus stop.
Point of clarification.
Find the clarification. You want to find the clarification?
No, I need to finish because I want to be quick. So, I said, okay, well, look, what did they tell you? Oh, go up to education.
That's what they issued.
That's what they should have said. They didn't say it. They told him he can't get a pass. You're not listening to me, are you? They told him he can't get a pass. This is going to turn into a half an hour. I'm not shouting. They told him he didn't get a pass.
Talk to me.
He couldn't get a pass. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go up to education. So we go and we get there and got to go on the second floor. So we get to the second floor and you got to make a call to get somebody. So we make a call. Hey, Bill, you're not supposed to come here. You gotta go down to across from shopping center down there. That's how they spoke. Just like that. I'm on the phone. Yeah, Bill, look, y'all gotta go down there across from shopping center, where One Communication is. I said, y'all gotta go down to One Communication, get a pass? So, okay, cool. Because I'm trying to make sure that my grandson does things right. Don't get all upset. I'm not getting upset. I'm like, okay, fine, we go there. 3 places just to get a pass. No. We followed instructions on where to go, and everywhere we were told to go, until eventually we got the right place. So we got to do some better communication, especially to our students. He's excited now. He's got his pass. So he can catch a bus. No, there was a teaching lesson because otherwise I wouldn't have known that people just didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, the bus terminal told him, nah, boss, you can't get a pass. No, there you go. So we need better communication, and that's all I'm getting at is just we need to help our students out, not make things difficult. One building to the next building to the next building just to get a pass.
Minister?
Mr. Speaker, and I'll start off with exactly what everybody else says. I was not expecting to speak, but since the opposition whip did not give me an opportunity to give a point of clarification, I will take this opportunity to do so. So everyone out there knows what the proper process is. Mr. Speaker, every single student that attends school in Bermuda knows that the bus passes are issued by the schools. And if that person does manage to lose the bus pass or they don't get the bus pass at that particular time, the next process is they attend the Department of Education and they will be issued a pass. They will take a record of it and they'll issue the pass to any student, whether they're Bermudian or they're coming from overseas. That is the process. So I'm unsure about what happened at the.
Other than school here, school overseas. We got it.
It's where they attend school, Mr. Speaker, because if they attend school in Bermuda, those passes are sent to the schools and they are issued. Any other student then must show up at the Department of Education and they will be issued a pass. And that includes any student that doesn't attend a school in Bermuda. The Department of Education's offices are located, as the speaker said, down by shopping center on Victoria Street. They moved there maybe a year ago, and so that's where they were. Where he happened to go was the ministry headquarters, which is located on 44 Church Street. The bus passes for students. For the public's edification, bus passes for students are not issued by the Department of Public Transportation. They're issued by the Department of Education, and they keep a record of these things so they know who's got them and how many they've given out. So anyone that's seeking a bus pass for their child who might be returning from school overseas that would not have gotten one from their school, just attend the Department of Education headquarters down there on Victoria Street, across from Shopping Center, and they'll be and they certainly would be accommodated for that.
Thank you, Minister, for the clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Does any other member wish to add any comments this afternoon? It looks like I'm going to stand to my feet before anybody else does. How's that one? Thank you. Members, we thank you for your participation today. It's not 5 o'clock yet. That's good. It's not 5 o'clock yet. We thank you for your participation. And unlike normal, we will be back next Friday instead of the following Friday. So don't get your Fridays mixed up and show up a week late because you'll be here by yourself. All by yourself. That's right. So in saying that, have a decent weekend, be safe. And I do want to make a comment in reference to MP Canadair's comment around the people going through the stoplight. Similar, just one day this week, I'm coming down. I was the first car, I stopped at the stoplight. When it turned red, 2-3 cars behind me stopped, and all of a sudden, a bunch of cars just came through. They were in the 2 or 3, there were about 4 or 5 cars behind me. They just kept coming through. We had already stopped. We had stopped to indicate that the light has changed, you're supposed to stop, and these cars from the back just kept coming through. So yes, it is an issue that should be addressed. But that said, the House now stands adjourned, and we'll see you next week Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.